morning, and welcome back again to Nursing and Therapy with Adobe Okoye. So today we are talking about something different, but it's actually similar to what I discussed in my last episode, and it's about relationships at our various places of work, especially between the junior staff and senior staff, manager, supervisor, subordinates. Okay, so as discussed in my last episode, if you remember, I mentioned that the workplace is where we spend most of our time, so we should be comfortable, or we should be made comfortable as much as we can. So today I want to discuss humility in leadership and how it can affect work, relationship, and eventually affect the goals and missions of the organization. So, and I also want to note that it's important that, or I just want to let us know that most times our leaders are responsible for making the workplace comfortable for us. Okay, so before I go into this, I'd like to just define in a very short and simple sentence who a leader is. So a leader is a person guiding a group of people or an organization to a desired goal. Just note that point, guiding. So you guide someone and to a desired goal. You can guide a person or a group. It's more like the person is looking up to you for something, to a desired goal. So I know that we all know that you can be a leader in your home, your workplace, and people have different leadership styles, okay? So, but no matter your leadership styles, you just have to bear in mind that your action affects your relationship. It affects the way you relate with people, and which directly affects the mission of that particular team or organization. So, I believe that as a leader, you should be able to connect with people. At the end of everything, it's about achieving something. It's about making something happen. If you're working for a company, it's about achieving the mission of that company. Or if it's a group, you have a goal. So it's about achieving that goal. Okay? So let's look at some qualities of a good leader before I go into the topic of humility in leadership. This is a very important topic. I know that a lot of people ignore it, and or they've not really thought about it, but it's something that I've discussed with people, and so I've gathered some points and I just want to let everyone know about it. So let's look at some qualities of a good leader first. So a good leader should have vision, should be courageous, should be focused, should be honest, should have empathy. You should have great planning skills, like communication skills as well. And you should be able to empower others. You should be approachable. This is very important. You should be approachable. And you should act as a role model to people and also focus on team building or relationship building. Okay, so now the point, humility in leadership. So it's important to note that humility in leadership is something that I don't know if employers or HRs look into while employing people, to fit into a position, or while employing leaders. But I just know that I believe that humble leaders should be ones that listen effectively, they inspire great teamwork, and then they focus on everyone. Right, they focus on everyone and also focus on the goals of the organization as well. So I did a little research, and from a book written by Jim Collins, he found a common trait in two CEOs of a company. And what's the trait? The trait is that they solicit feedback and then they focus on employee needs. So he discovered that with these traits, their companies were able to move from average to superior, like their performances or their performance in the company moved from average to superior. So it was like they moved from nothing to something, or moved from where they were to where they are. So he proposed the importance of humility in leadership, focusing on soliciting feedback both from job roles and appraisals, and then focusing on employee needs in order to make the work better. Okay, focusing on employee needs in order to generate more ideas. Okay, what does this employee need to make this work better for this person in order to achieve what you want to achieve? So this would take me to saying that amongst everything, or amongst all qualities HROs or departments should look at or should bear in mind while employing, humility is very important. And also they should note that human resources is the greatest resource you can have as an organization. Okay, I always like to say, forget money, not like you forget it, but it's also important. But just know that if you have the best people and you treat them well, okay, your welfare to that department is on point, then you know that expect a better result. And then that is even when you know that if something is not working well, you have the ground to challenge a lot of things, because you've looked into that department and you've seen that you are giving a very good welfare. So what is the problem? Okay, so now let's get down to qualities of a humble leader. I mentioned earlier the qualities of a good leader. Now I'm mentioning the qualities of a humble leader. This is also is in the same line with a good leader, but remember my topic is humility in leadership. So qualities of a humble leader: they understand that they are not the smartest. A humble leader knows that, okay, so yeah, I'm a leader, I have the experience, I have the qualifications, I'm guiding you all, but you can also share some information with me. I don't know it all. You can tell me what you know and I'll listen. They give that listening ear. They don't expect to be the best, they don't expect to be the smartest, but they are able to listen to people, accept mistakes, apologize if they need to, and then pick up from there. That's the feedback we are talking about. They also encourage people to speak up. Okay, so they ensure that in their team everyone is involved. You can't just be there and then others are doing things and the leader ignores you. A humble leader, you don't need, as a humble leader, you ensure that everyone speaks up. You want to carry everybody along. If there is someone that is not involved, you try to speak to that person, asking what the problem is. That's the employee needs you're talking about. And if it's something you can come in to help the person in order to fire on, give the person that energy, then as a leader, that is what you have to do. So they are also approachable. You are welcoming. I think there is nothing, I cannot overemphasize this being approachable as a leader, because I think it's like a gate to every other thing. It's more like if you open your gate, you let things happen. So being approachable makes your employee want to go to you if there is anything. I'm talking about official things here. They want to speak to you concerning their job roles, or even if it's something that maybe is a personal thing, some domestic things that affect the job role that they want to discuss with you about, maybe just briefly. You're opening the gate for that discussion to happen. Don't forget that at the end of the day, you want your team to achieve something. Okay, so they also focus on getting feedback from everyone and not necessarily the executives. So what they do is they focus on getting feedback, information from everyone, and champion on the best idea. The best idea mustn't come from, for instance, the chairman. It can come from the lowest person in the cadre. So they focus on you just want the best to happen. So they focus on getting information from everyone, not neglecting or ignoring other people, and then championing on the best idea. They admit their mistakes, like I said earlier. They admit their mistakes and then they take responsibility for their actions. Okay? So there is normal saying that people believe that when a leader is I don't want to use the word kind, but maybe when you are very welcoming and approachable, then you people see it as a weakness and then play around with it. I don't believe in this. It's very common, but I don't believe in it, because I believe that when a leader is welcoming, as a leader, okay, you're supposed to be assertive. You can be kind and then you are assertive at the same time. When someone does something, you know when to say, okay, fine, this is, I forgive you, and then, okay, I know I'm nice, but you have to face the punishment. There are consequences to things. So I don't admit to that saying that when you're welcoming or approachable, then, or you are nice as a leader, then you are weak. No. So like I said, you can be welcoming, you can be approachable, you can be nice, but you're assertive. You do things the way it should be done. Okay? And then achieve what you want to achieve. So what this leadership, what happens when you don't lead well, or you're not humble in leadership? Let me just say effects of poor leadership. One, you find out that your staff are going, they're resigning, nobody is happy there. They just want to go to a place where they're made comfortable, where there's less aggression, where they go to work happy. Remember in my last episode, I mentioned that people don't like to work, but there's something that keeps making them go to work. That I always have in my head, that even if you have every other person being nasty at the workplace, I have to use that word nasty, but if you have a good supervisor, a good manager, you see that you have something that keeps pushing you to go to work. You can ignore others, but it's even rare. Most times it's rare that you have a good manager, a good supervisor, and the others are, not working well, or kind of you don't relate well with them. Because don't forget that, so most times it starts from the top. People learn from experience or from how other people are treated or being treated. So what am I trying to say? Effects of poor leadership. One, your staff begin to resign. They're not happy. They don't want to be there. Then you have a lot of them calling in, being absent. Let me not use the word. They're calling like, oh, something is happening. They don't want to come to work. They keep coming up with excuses that they don't want to come to work. But deep within, you find out that they just don't like their workplace. They're not happy to be there. Then another reason is lack of cooperation. People don't want to do anything. They just want to do their work and go. They don't want problem. Just do your work and go. They don't want to participate in anything happening in the team because they don't care. And then with this happening, there is low performance output. There's low output. Your goals, everything, you time your goals. You want to achieve something in a particular time or in a certain period. So with this happening, the output is very low, because like I mentioned, your staff are resigning, people are calling in that they can't come to work, they don't cooperate. Your output is going to be very low. And eventually, if people leave and all this happens, you see that you spend more. So for instance, someone leaves a particular role. So let me use, you're paying the person, you're paying the normal, like let's say you just have a basic pay, and then you need to employ someone else, okay? And the new person comes in and says, oh, I'm not taking this, I'm taking a higher salary. So, and you know that, okay, you've done several interviews, and they say that person is the best fit or the best person for that position. So at the end of the day, you may just consider, okay, so we increase the salary for you. So now you're losing money, you're even losing time. So you're losing money training the person as well. Because if it's a position, I believe that all position requires training. So if it's a position that requires that you spend money to train the person, you have to still spend extra money to train the person. And then there's also time. There's no time, sorry. You're also spending time doing all this. And at the end of the day, you may not eventually achieve the goal that you want to achieve, or it may exceed the time given for that goal. So these are the effects of poor leadership. I know there are other examples, but these are just few examples. So what am I trying to say? You know what humility does? Humility in leadership, it brings people closer to you. Why they are learning from you, you're also learning from them. I want to mention that leadership is not just through educational qualifications or your experience or your awards, certificates, and the rest of it. It's also through directing. It's not just that. You can acquire all these things, but also note that it's also through directing your subordinates. Okay, anybody you are leading, anybody you are guiding. I said guiding. When I define leadership, I said who a leader is. I said the leader guides. So notice that anybody you are guiding, or anybody you are leading, you are guiding the person. You are welcoming them, and you're able to see through them. So when you're able to see through someone, you are empowering the person. You are assisting the person to become better, even on the job. Even sometimes they learn from you. You'll be like a role model to them. They want to be like you. You're developing them. You're making them be informed that even if they leave that particular role at the end of the day and they go somewhere, whatever they have learned from you, they'll use it for that other role. So to better themselves. Okay? So, and in so doing it, you're earning respect and trust amongst your subordinates. You don't even have to struggle for it. It just comes naturally because you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're even improving your integrity. You're being competent, more competent, and finally, you're seeing to the growth of the organization, achieving your goals. Okay, so at the end of the day, you would see that humility is like the umbrella of leadership. Okay, because it allows every other quality subconsciously. Because once, like I mentioned, once you are a leader and you're able to, you're approachable, once you're a humble leader. Let me put it that way. Once you're a humble leader and you are approachable and you are able to encourage people, you welcome people, you speak to people, you involve them, then every other thing, it falls in line. Like it just takes its place naturally. Then finally, remember that if a leader fails, automatically the mission or whatever mission the group has will fail. So with all this said, in my opinion, I think leadership should be considered, humility should be considered when assigning any leadership role. This will see to the growth of the organization and will help the organization achieve its goal. So that's the end of the topic today. I believe a lot of people have learned from it, and like I said, it's something that I know people maybe they don't think about it or they ignore, but I think I see it as a very serious topic that people should listen to and then learn from. Anybody can be a leader at any day, so you can go to school, look for leadership training, acquire some certificates and experience and the rest of it. But that humility is very important, because as it's helping you now, three things is as usual. As it's helping you, it's helping your subordinates, and eventually it's directly helping the organization grow. So this is the end of the topic, like I said. So you can ask your questions. My name is Adobe Okoye, like I said earlier. Facebook, Adobe Okoye. Instagram, Adobe Okoye. My email address, zenithhealth@gmail.com. Zenith is Z or ZENYT, then health@gmail.com. So we can discuss anything, whatever you feel like it's disturbing you and you want to talk about it, or you think something is wrong somewhere, then we can talk about it. I can do a little research and then we talk about it, we discuss it. This is therapy. My podcast is for therapy, and it's open to anyone who wants to talk about something. So thank you very much for listening, and please share with your friends. Someone may learn something from it. You listening can learn something from it, or will learn something from it, and someone will also learn from something from it. So just share. The generosity, share and let people learn. So see you guys in my next episode. So bye for now.